What up, my Patreon brothers and sisters? Let me tell you way too much. If you seen the Kareem video I did on my YouTube channel, if you hadn't, you might as well stop this and go check that out first. Now, because we're going to just continue and get right to it here, because it's the Patreon. This is what you paid for. So let's get right to it. Now, the gist of it all is this. I sugarcoated that one. I left it as clean and as crazy as it sounded. It's way more intense. Wilt Chamberlain, he got involved. See, the thing about Wilt is, Wilt was the type that whether you were with him or against him or anything like that kind, Wilt was the type that was going to tell you how it was. And when you came in the NBA, there was always a veteran that would take you under his wing. So before the draft took place, Wilt Chamberlain had Kareem with him. Kareem hadn't become Muslim or anything at that time. So Wilt Chamberlain had Kareem. And he got to see Wilt's house, in New York. Wilt had Wilt's small shop, his nightclub. So he'd go to Smalls, that's what they called it, Smalls. Big Wilt's Smalls. So he'll go across the street, from his nightclub to his house. His house had artwork on the walls that Kareem had never seen. He's used to somebody putting something on the wall from Woolworths or something. He's like, this is like something that, the Rat Pack would have in their house. And one of those movies they do. Like, Will had all the jazz collections, state-of-the-art stereo, television, and entertainment. And all the women just loved to be around Wilt. Like, they just loved Wilt Chamberlain. He was so captivating. They had to be around him 24 hours a day. And he was like, this is what your life is going to become. And he was like, sign me up. So Kareem has got hoes going on, the lifestyle and everything. Will stick with me, buddy. And then they get on the elevator, him and Will. And some guy get on the elevator. And the guy goes, hey, what's the weather like up there? And then Wilt Chamberlain spit on the guy and said, it's raining. And Kareem's like, oh my God. The guy just stood there. He was scared to say anything. He was just like shocked of what just happened. And Wilt just looked at him like, if you say something, I'll snap your neck. And he didn't say that, but it's just the look he gave me. The guy got off the elevator and Kareem was like, what you just do that for? Like, you'll get in trouble. And Kareem's like, I can't have that type of conflict around me. Kareem, Wilt was just like, you don't get it yet. Wait till you get into the league, rookie. You'll understand. You can do what you want to do. So that was the introduction he had with Wilt. Listening to jazz music and learning from Wilt. There was a lot of different variations of what people believe and what they liked and all of these different tropes of, yeah, well, he might be doing this, he might be doing that, all the ancillary things that come along. But once he became Muslim and he joined the Hanafis, the Nation of Islam wanted to kill Kareem Abdul Jabbar. He had made a couple of statements against the Nation of Islam and separating himself from them. Now, this angered Elijah Muhammad because he had a large influence over a lot of blacks because of basketball. So there was a lot of people that didn't like what he had to say. And there's a lot of people who was going over to, going over to Islam and all that. And Artist Gilmore was one that was the one that brought him, into the conversation about blacks and what was going on. So him and Artist Gilmore had rivalries, on the court and stuff, but it was a more of a brotherhood when they spoke. And, Gilmore telling him, like, man, this is the game, this is just what it is. So he had a lot of people giving him advice along the way, people that weren't in the game no more, but were still around the game. They weren't playing it no more, like Elgin Baylor. Bill Russell had a lot to say to the young Kareem, who was Lou Alcindor then. So once he became Kareem Abdul Jabbar and switched his name, he went from being a beloved person on the team to someone that was instantly started to be hated. There's a lot of tension in the world racially. And when people converting over with Muhammad Ali, converting over and Cassius Clay into Muhammad Ali, then you got uh, who else converted at that time? But you had a lot of people that was coming over. You had the Malcolm X. Malcolm Little became Malcolm X, and there was other people who were there that you know had to echo them sentiments. Now, the reason why the NOI came after the Hanifas was because the rhetoric that they were spewing was hate towards the Nation of Islam and building up supporters for their East Coast branch that they had that was coming out of DC. So their Jersey, their Jersey branch ended up extracting vengeance. And the Hanifas was really vocal after the death of Malcolm X. You know. So in 73, they had enough. And they came in and put a hit out on Kareem Abdul Jabbar and the entire crew that this is going to send a message. But Elijah Muhammad allegedly wanted no such action. Elijah Muhammad did not want any action to happen to them because he said this is going to make it hard for all Muslims around the world who still aren't 100% like over the Malcolm X thing. Malcolm X is still fresh on people's minds. So all of a sudden, the Nation of Islam took the blame for the raid and the invasion as they killed children. They killed the 13-year-old boy. It was just a slaughter of 6, 7 family members. And the Hanafis went off. And so they threatened to grab Kareem Abdul Jabbar. They were going to kill him, but now they got to get Kareem because Kareem is the money. So if they were to grab Kareem, that basically is going to stop the union. They won't be able to sustain without the finances of Kareem. So now Kareem, who stands for peace, who had nothing to do with the whole incident, like they didn't tell Kareem the plan. They just using Kareem for his money. He's got money, he's got fame, he can spread the message faster. That's the guy we need. We need a guy that could do that and get away with things and not be seen. He's undetectable, undeniable. So if you know that, and you know they're going to do any and everything they can to keep him on he's got to stay on the Ferris wheel. There's no way for him to fall off of it. He got to remain on the Ferris wheel. So when this goes down, Kareem is terrified. So in 1974 and 75, Kareem Abdul Jabbar is basically playing the best basketball in the world, but now the Bucks and everybody else got to keep protection on Kareem because the Jewish Defense League is trying to take his life. So now they're sending threats. It's threatening emails, not emails. Jesus Christ, did I say emails? Threatening letters in the mail, threatening everything, saying we're gonna kill you, N-word, N-word, N-word. You're no good. 7 foot tall, you can't hide. We got guys watching you everywhere. Soon as your game is over, you're gonna die, N-word. So hate mail is coming through all the time. He's scared at the game. Talking about they got a shooter at the game that's there. They're gonna kidnap him. They know he did this and he just wants to hurt the Jewish people. So in their estimation, he is no good. So years go by, things die down. Then the Hanifas go and breaks into the building, the Jewish building, hold everybody hostage. People are shot, threatening to kill all these Jewish people and black people. Look, it was crazy. For 38 hours this happened. And while they're doing that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's name was echoed hundreds of times on the internet. I mean, not the internet. Did I just say the internet? Jesus Christ. On the news, in the papers, on the radio. Because radio was king then. So it was a group that is funded by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, his nation. So Kareem ended up missing a game because of this, had migraines, had to immediately, they had to get more security on Kareem. So now, who comes to his aid? Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain, the JDL, was going to kidnap him and get him up out of there. His girlfriend is scared because he's been going around. Wilt's like, look, man, I know you fucking this white girl. Okay? Look, that's cool. I used to fuck her too. He's like, what? You used to sleep with her? I sleep with a lot of women. But we good. I'm glad you got her. She's a good girl. So I'm going to have her call. She got some connections. So we going to get all of this off there. But what you going to have to do, man, you got to lay low. Like this thing is getting serious. This thing is not going to go without some attention. So you going to stay with me. Because his house was made for a big man. Like the space, the couch, everything he had was like custom made because he's a big man. So he likes to have big stuff around. So he said, you're going to stay here. Elgin Baylor, who I talked to, Elgin was a smart man as far as to talk to the people in the Jewish Defense League and saying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not who you think. So they had a sit down. And they came to realization that Kareem would make a speech denouncing the Hanifas and denouncing, you know, or Hanafi or whatever they want to say, they're going to be denounced. As he said, I joined Islam because of the spirituality of Islam, not a person, not because of a man. So he even changed his whole origins of how he became it. So now it wasn't the man no more. After all what he did, now spirituality guided him to do it. These are words that has been implanted in Kareem's head to say to get him into out of harm's way. Now this guy who was a pariah to the media and everything else, they needed to change his image up. So this is when he started doing some commercials, started smiling. Then he started doing, he did the movie Airplane. And they were like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. So they do Airplane. And it's a huge success. Everybody loves Kareem now. They now see him as this funny guy when he was always very serious, very tight faced, didn't smile, grumpy. Now he's the fun loving, everybody's best friend in the whole wide world. But Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, and get this, Jim Brown. Jim Brown came out and he the one, him and Elgin Baylor are the ones that really set up this meeting to protect Kareem. And they were saying if anything happens to Kareem, it's going to be global proportions of bad. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose everything. We'll shut shops down, everything. No, you're not taking Kareem. The JDL better take care of this ASAP. No more hate mails, no more nothing. This thing's over. It's dead and done. So that's that. And I'm out. That's about it. So everything else you got, it connects back to the story that we told with the rest of it. But now you know the details behind that, you know. So I cut Will, you know, Bill Russell, all those guys, Jim Brown. I just cut out all the support that they gave Kareem for moving him from place to place, putting security on him, so guys couldn't hurt him. Jim Brown's guys was following him around to make sure he was good, you know. So the NBA definitely wasn't gonna do that. At that time, they ain't had the money. So it is what it is. Life is something else. But anyway, man, I'm out. Y'all enjoyed Black Panther 2. Wakanda forever! Yeah, y'all already know I've seen it. But y'all take it easy.